welcome back to my channel, The Lettered Creative, the place for bullet journaling, calligraphy, and lettering enthusiasts. Today I am so excited to share with you my May Plan With Me bullet journal layout. As you know, I feel like I say this every single time, but yeah, if you clicked on the video, you know that the theme is plants and succulents. I went onto my Instagram to ask which you would prefer, either a plant succulent theme or a home decor theme, because that is all I am seeing lately to this day. But yeah, so succulents one, I kind of tied in a little bit of it together, so I hope you enjoy it. Also, for this particular theme, I decided I wanted to try something different in just trying out different techniques and tips for you to make your layouts more interesting, as well as look a different look with the same theme. So you'll see throughout the pages there are kind of three distinct styles, I would say, of just recreating a plant-based look, because I feel like there are tons of videos of that out there. So yeah, I'll tried my best to explain most of the techniques and the tips that I do, so whichever style that you do end up liking and choosing, it'll be easy for you to recreate. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get to it.
To start this off, I'm doing some plants on a window ledge. I've recently got some plants of my own and was inspired by them to draw it. To make it more interesting, I did different types and kinds of plants, as well as different size pots that layer in front and behind each other, and this is an easy way to make your layout more fun. I love a large windowsill to contrast it as well. I'm leaving it blank because I feel like that's what it looks like in all these images you see on Pinterest, so it's quite aesthetic. This first way is not really a technique, but I decided to color it in with my Mildliners and felt tip pens. This is a basic way to add color using whatever you have around. I don't really try for realism here, just adding some of it for fun. The great thing about markers is that if you do it fast enough, it's actually really easy to blend the colors together. So just use whatever you have lying at home and it would work. To add extra pop, I colored in only some of the pots and added some color and contrast. Because this layout is front facing, you don't have to worry about adding any shadows unless you want to. It gives it more of a pop art feel to it. I did a small hand-lettered May. I love it when the letter is curling around something. Obviously, if you follow me on Instagram, you will know this. I colored it in black. I think next time I will start the window further down so that the whole layout is more centered, but overall, I think it's a really fun page. The next page is my monthly calendar. I want to do the drop-down, non-traditional layout. Since it doesn't seem like social distancing is nearing an end, I am not expecting too many social events, so I'm putting in all of my FaceTime dates here at the moment. The sub-theme of this page is hanging plants variety of plants. I love the look in real life, and I'm honestly debating to buy some macrame to learn how to do it myself with my plants. Just thought I would do this as a layout first. There isn't too much technique in this one either. I just wanted to make sure that the macrame strings don't cover the plants, so I make the lines appear on top of it. I also looked up different types of macrame that they use to tie up the plants, but I actually like the more simple look in the end. The second way to color it in is with watercolor and just painting in the lines. Because the hanging plants are pretty small, you don't have to be too detailed with the painting. It's good enough to just dab some of the colors and spread it around. Some of my personal favorite plants are the ones that hang and dangle out of the pot. So I did some of that there and some cactuses. I really want hanging plants of my own, as I mentioned, so this page is to inspire and motivate me to get a better green thumb. At the end, I wanted a wooden shelf of sorts underneath the calendar, so I can basically draw a hook and hang my upcoming events here. I'm very excited to use this page and see how it fills out. The next page is my absolute favorite, but also the page that took the longest, like way longer than I thought it would. This is my habit tracker succulent close-up page. I really wanted to try something different instead of a traditional habit tracker look, and it's not that innovative, but instead of straight down, I made it diagonal. I think it's visually very interesting with that simple change. I am tracking my biz, bujo, language because I want to learn a new language, workout because I'm actually doing a push-up challenge this month with a group of friends. We are trying to do 3,000 push-ups by the end of this month, so wish me luck. I am also tracking no spend, mornings, social, and read. Now, this is the fun part, painting the succulents. I decided to use watercolor for this and not to line the leaves, petals? I don't know what it's called, but I'm just gonna call them the leaves of the succulent. And I didn't line it just to give it a different look from the other ones. To recreate this look, choose one color to be your main color. Since watercolor is super buildable, I recommend doing one leaf at a time, placing a bit of the paint down and then slowly spreading it to the rest of the leaf. It is the darkest where the leaves overlap, so go in with more pigment to create further dimension. To take it a step further, choose a secondary color and blend it on top of the first color. It doesn't have to be exactly where the other parts are, but just cover some parts of it and follow the same idea that the darkest is where the leaves overlap. For this layout, I put the light source to be on top of the succulents, so there aren't any crazy shadows that I had to paint, but you're welcome to do so if you wish. It was just easier for me to do it this way. I used a fairly thin brush because I like to be precise, but you definitely don't need to. Each succulent took around 30 minutes each, and you definitely become more comfortable painting them the more you do it. I highly recommend you try this. I would only do a third color as an accent color. For me, it's the purple color that lines the edge of the leaves that you can see a lot of succulents, and I find it super interesting and it is quite easy to do. Also, did I mention that these paints I have are from 10 years ago, where some of the paints are just dried in the tube and I literally had to cut some of it out. But the great thing about watercolor is that even if it's dried, you can just add some water and it's as good as new. With us being at home right now, just use what you can. I was almost a little bit sad to write the habit tracker somewhere on the page with all the succulents painted, but I put it on the side and I just didn't do anything too fancy with the lettering, and I just used a good old brush pen. Now to the last page of this month, you guessed it, it's my mood tracker. I debated what I wanted this page to be like, and I decided I wanted to draw the individual plants for how I was feeling that day. The other idea was drawing the succulents and coloring each leaf, but I'm glad I did that for the habit tracker instead. So to make this layout work, I wanted to draw the shelves and ledges where the plants can sit and different pots for them to grow in. It's like a pre-greenhouse, and by the end of this month, it'll all be grown. I did some hanging shelves, which I really like to make myself as a regular display, as well as these honeycomb hexagon shelves that I've been seeing everywhere. This is like planning my future plant home. I went in with watercolor to paint the shelves a nice brown. I mostly just used one paint for this and used varying levels of dilutedness, if that's the word. This is a really great way to add depth to your piece, and it's super easy to do and no one will know the wiser. The important note is for any of this that you're painting over after you lined it is to make sure to use a waterproof liner. Don't use ones that are water-based. So just make sure you check what kind of pens you have. But if you don't have any of those, you can always do the paint first and then line it. That's also an option as well. I did the different planters and pots in a set with each shelf and colored them in with the same color but just slightly different for each. And for my moods, I have happy, content, meh, sad, and mad again. These are represented in different types of cacti and succulents. I will draw one each day, but I might just color them all together once we reach the end of the month. We will see. The mood tracker is just on one of the shelves. I wanted to do it like a wooden statue of sorts, but I didn't like the look, so I just went in with black hand lettering. So this is the final flip through. I am obsessed with how this turned out. I love it. I hope you enjoyed the little tips and techniques for sprucing up your layouts. Ha, get it? Pun intended. Use the materials you have at home and it will work out.
Alright, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, leave me a like if you did. Make sure to subscribe for more things like this and leave me a comment for whatever you're thinking. I'm on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, so make sure to follow me there for other things then, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, that's it. I hope to see you all later.